All right, let's talk about what's buzzing in Philly right now because Howie Roseman might be cooking up something massive again. The rumor mill's spinning like crazy, and apparently, the Eagles are trying to make a blockbuster move for none other than Myles Garrett. Yeah, that's right, the monster from Cleveland. Reports say Howie even offered 3 first-round picks for him. 3. That's not a move you make unless you're trying to go all in on another Super Bowl run. And honestly, that sounds exactly like something Howie would do. Every time people think the Eagles are done making moves, he finds another way to shock the league. But let's slow down for a second and unpack this, because there's a lot to get into. Before diving into the whole Myles Garrett saga, can we just agree on one thing? Miami needs to let Bradley Chubb go. If we can't get Garrett, please, someone save Chubb from that mess down there. I watched that team the other night. They looked lost. The energy was flat. The motivation just wasn't there. And yet Chubb was still out there playing hard, still looking like a guy who actually wants to compete. You can tell he's frustrated. Imagine him in Philly's defensive system with our rotation and our culture. That would be nasty. But back to Garrett. This rumor has been heating up because people close to the league, not just random fans online, are talking. Even folks from other teams have said the Eagles have been super hot after Garrett. And if that's true, it shows one thing. Roseman wants another elite piece to completely wreck opposing quarterbacks. Now, some of you might say, 3 first-rounders? That's insane. But here's the thing. When those first-rounders are likely late picks, they're not as valuable as they sound. The Eagles are built to win now. You're not drafting for the future when you've got a roster that's this close to championship level. Look at how many late first-rounders don't even end up being difference-makers. You're talking about maybe 14 to 18 players each year who actually have first-round grades. Once you're picking in the 20s or 30s, you're practically drafting second-round talent. So yeah, giving up those picks for an absolute game-wrecker like Garrett? That's not crazy at all. Think about what happened with the Rams and Lions. The Rams gave up a haul for Matthew Stafford, and people said they were mortgaging their future. Then boom, Super Bowl champs. Detroit took those same picks, drafted smart, built up their defense, and now look at them, legit contenders. Both sides won that trade. That's what this could be, a win-win. The Browns could use those picks to rebuild and fix the holes in their roster while the Eagles go all in and try to grab another ring. It's perfect for both sides. NFC versus AFC, no real conflict there. And don't even start with the, but what about the salary cap talk? I get it, the money's tight. But if there's one general manager in the league who can make it work, it's Howie Roseman. This guy turns cap space into a magic trick every offseason. He could restructure, move contracts around, get creative. That's what he does. And imagine a front seven that includes Myles Garrett, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Hasten Reddick, and maybe even Nolan Smith coming off the edge. Bro, that's not just scary, that's illegal. Quarterbacks would be running for their lives before the balls even snapped. And that's the thing. Even with 5 sacks last week, you could see our edge rushing still isn't consistent enough. We got pressure, yeah, but a lot of those sacks came because the quarterback held the ball too long. You add Garrett to that group, and it's a completely different story. The man had 5 sacks in one game. 5. He could have had 7 if the game lasted a few more minutes. That's dominance. That's a guy who changes the outcome by himself. When you have that level of talent, you don't hesitate, you pull the trigger. You can find another late first-rounder, but you can't find another Myles Garrett. The Browns would be taking a gamble if they said no. Maybe they want to hold on to him. Maybe they think he's untouchable. But if someone's offering 3 number 1 picks, you at least have to pick up the phone. Maybe Garrett doesn't want to move. He's got a no-trade clause. But if he ever wanted to play for a team that's built to win right now, Philadelphia's the spot. He'd walk into a locker room full of hungry dogs who only care about one thing: winning championships. But man, while we're on the topic of ridiculous trade talks, let's talk about that joke of an offer the Patriots made for A.J. Brown. A second-round pick? That's it. That's what you think A.J. Brown is worth. Come on, man. That's not even close. A.J. Brown isn't just a receiver. He's a tone setter. He's the kind of guy who changes games by himself. You can't replace that energy, that chemistry, that production with a second-round pick. If you want to even start a conversation, you'd have to throw in a top corner like Christian Gonzalez and probably another player. And even then, Philly's hanging up the phone. Because A.J. Brown is part of the identity of this team. He's not a piece you trade away unless you're completely rebuilding. And we're nowhere near that. The Patriots must have thought they could sneak one past us. Maybe they're desperate. Maybe they're trying to give their rookie quarterback a weapon, but a second for one of the top wideouts in football? Nah, that's not just insulting, that's laughable. If the Eagles had even thought about taking that, the whole fan base would have lost it. Philly would have burned down Twitter, Reddit, and every sports forum out there. You don't trade a player like A.J. Brown unless you're getting something historic back. Period. And honestly, that kind of move shows how other teams look at Philly right now. Everyone's trying to find a way to pry away a piece of what we've built because they see how dominant this roster can be. But it's not happening. This team's focused, locked in, and every single player knows the mission. You could see it when Cooper DeJean talked about the mentality inside the locker room. It's not about stats, not about noise from the media, it's about winning. Period. You can feel that culture in every quote, every snap, every post-game huddle. It's all business. That's what makes this team special. You've got guys who want their individual shine. Sure, wide receivers will always want their numbers. That's part of the game. But at the end of the day, everyone's pulling in the same direction. Everyone's chasing the same goal. That's why trades like this, whether it's Garrett, Chubb, or whoever, aren't about making headlines. They're about making statements. The Eagles are saying, we're not satisfied with being good. We want to be unstoppable. And that's the difference between teams that talk about winning and teams that actually do it. The Eagles don't sit back and hope the pieces work out. They go out and make it happen. Whether it's adding veterans, drafting smart, or restructuring deals, every move is made with one thing in mind: building a dynasty. So, if you're an Eagles fan and you're worried about giving up picks or big contracts, relax. This is what it takes to stay on top. Super Bowls don't come cheap, and Howie knows that better than anyone. So yeah, maybe the Myles Garrett trade never happens. Maybe the Browns hang up the phone and say no thanks. But the fact that the Eagles are even in the conversation tells you everything you need to know. They're not complacent. They're not content. They're still hunting. And when you've got a front office that aggressive, a roster that deep, and a culture that obsessed with winning, the rest of the league better pay attention, because Philly isn't just trying to fly high. They're trying to own the sky. You can feel it, right? The shift in the air around this Eagles team. There's something brewing that's bigger than just another strong season. It's the sense that the front office, the players, and the fans are all aligned with one purpose: domination. When you've got a general manager like Howie Roseman pushing for names like Myles Garrett, you know the mindset isn't just about making the playoffs. It's about building a legacy. Garrett isn't a nice-to-have. He's a once-in-a-generation defensive force. The kind of player who flips a game script by himself. If that deal ever happens, imagine what that means for opposing quarterbacks. It wouldn't just be pressure. It would be panic every single snap. You'd have Garrett flying in, Jalen Carter bulldozing through, and Haason Reddick slicing off the edge. That's destruction at every angle. Teams would start changing their entire game plan just to survive 3 downs. But even if the deal doesn't go through, the message has already been sent. The Eagles aren't playing it safe. Howie's telling the league that Philly will do whatever it takes to win another Lombardi. You don't make that kind of aggressive offer unless you believe your window is wide open. And the scary thing? He's right. This roster is stacked. The depth, the youth, the experience, it's all there. Adding one elite player could turn a contender into a dynasty-level force. And that's why Eagles fans can't be afraid of giving up picks. Those late first-rounders don't guarantee stars. Garrett, on the other hand, is guaranteed production every single Sunday. He's dominance personified. The man doesn't take plays off. You can feel his presence in every drive. That's why it's so wild to hear people doubting the move because of cost or cap space. Like, come on. This team is built for now. You don't worry about 3 years down the road when you've got a real shot at winning it all this year. Championships change everything. Winning fixes everything. That's the kind of mindset Garrett embodies. And it's exactly what Philly thrives on. If there's one city that understands the value of grit, it's Philadelphia. And Garrett's game screams Philly. He's tough, relentless, and plays like every snap is personal. Put that guy in midnight green, and he instantly becomes a fan favorite. Now, switching gears a bit, that A.J. Brown trade rumor still cracks me up. The Patriots really thought they could get him for a second-round pick? That's beyond disrespectful. It's like walking into a car dealership, pointing at a brand-new sports car, and saying, "Yeah, I'll give you $50 for it." That's how ridiculous it sounded. A.J. Brown is untouchable. He's one of the core reasons this offense clicks the way it does. His chemistry with Jalen Hurts is unmatched. His energy after every catch, his fire on the sidelines. That's the kind of leadership you can't buy. He's not just catching balls. He's setting a tone for the entire team. When he plays angry, the whole squad feeds off it. So yeah, a second-round pick? That's laughable. If anything, that offer probably just fired AJ up even more. You know how competitive he is. That man's about to go out there and make sure the league remembers why he's one of the best in the game. Philly doesn't let go of stars like that. Not when they're still ascending, not when they're still hungry. If the Patriots want to rebuild, cool, but don't come knocking on Philly's door unless you're ready to give up half your roster in your next draft. Because AJ isn't just a weapon, he's a culture guy. He represents everything this team stands for: confidence, swagger, and an unbreakable will to win. And while people outside of Philly love to talk about drama, about whether the offense is happy enough, whether receivers are getting enough touches, the truth is simple. Everyone in that locker room wants the same thing: winning. You can hear it in every post-game interview, every sideline conversation. Cooper DeJean said it best: the only thing that matters is winning. That's what separates great teams from good ones. The Eagles have stars who could easily chase personal stats, but what they want more than anything is to hoist that trophy again. That's the beauty of this team's mindset. They've tasted glory, and now they're addicted to it. It's not easy to come back after a Super Bowl run with the same hunger. Some teams fall apart under pressure. But this group? They've doubled down. The defense is evolving. The offense keeps finding new ways to attack, and the coaching staff has kept everyone locked in. There's no panic, no chaos, just focus. When a team buys into that kind of mentality, you can feel it through the screen. Every game feels like a mission. Every mistake becomes motivation. They know what it takes to win, and they're willing to fight for it week after week. That's why these trade talks, even when they don't happen, serve a purpose. They remind the players and the fans that this organization refuses to settle. You've got a general manager who's always searching for an edge, a coach who keeps the locker room disciplined, and leaders on both sides of the ball who keep the fire burning. That's the perfect storm. It's what makes Philly dangerous, not just the talent, but the attitude. There's no fear in that building. There's no comfort zone. Every player knows they're one move away from greatness, and every opponent knows they're one snap away from getting hit in the mouth. FlyEaglesFly News family, smash subscribe and hit like. Your support keeps the freshest Philadelphia Eagles updates flying in. Drop your take in the comments, and let's talk birds. Whispers are swirling through the NFL corridors, and if the latest chatter holds any weight, the Philadelphia Eagles have just made a move that could shake the league to its core. JAELAN PHILLIPS, the electrifying edge rusher known for his explosive first step and relentless pursuit of quarterbacks, is reportedly set to don green and white, joining a roster already brimming with defensive talent. Sources close to the team hint that the deal is done, though official confirmation is still pending, leaving fans and pundits alike on edge. The buzz around Phillips isn't just about his stats or his highlight reels, though those certainly help. It's about the kind of impact he can have in a division that's becoming increasingly competitive. Imagine a unit that already boasts a ferocious defensive line now supplemented with a player whose blend of speed, power, and instinct could turn games on a dime. The rumor mill suggests the Eagles see Phillips as more than just a situational pass rusher. He could be the missing puzzle piece in a defense aiming for championship glory. Philadelphia supporters are already dreaming of the chaos Phillips could unleash. Divisional rivals may soon face sleepless nights imagining the possibilities: a quarterback forced out of the pocket, a running back chased down from behind, or a crucial third and long obliterated before it even begins. The whispers growing louder in league circles hint that Phillips' addition could redefine the Eagles' defensive identity, potentially shifting the balance of power across the NFC. Of course, as with all rumors, skepticism lingers. Contract details remain shrouded in mystery, and the timing of the announcement could be part of a strategic play by the front office. But the sheer excitement surrounding this potential signing is undeniable. Whether Phillips can live up to the hype is anyone's guess, but if the murmurs are accurate, Philadelphia fans may soon witness a defensive renaissance, one that reverberates far beyond Lincoln Financial Field. Stay tuned. The NFL landscape may be on the brink of a shakeup, And if JAELAN Phillips really is heading to Philly, the league had better brace itself. That's a wrap from FlyEaglesFly News. If you want the fastest Eagles updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Sound off in the comments. Let's talk birds.